Is timeline shifting real? I want to share with you an experience that I had that was so profound. There is no way that you could or I could doubt the ability for us to do timeline shifting. I had recently been doing some guided meditations and some personal meditations on timeline shifting. And a few months ago, I had this very profound experience. We were having dinner with another couple. We were just having conversation, and the woman of the couple shared me a photograph, a portrait that she had made, and the portrait was a portrait called a soul portrait. And the gentleman had previously had a soul portrait done, and so she had a soul portrait done, and they were just talking about the experience and sharing that with us. She shared a photograph with me as the other parties were having conversation, and then he asked her, "Do you have a picture of my soul portrait? Because I don't have it on me." So she pulled out her phone and pulled out a picture of their two soul portraits together, and her portrait was very different. So I made a statement such as, "Oh, this portrait is very different from the first one you showed me. Did you have another one made?" And she said, "No, I've only had one portrait made." And I said, "Well, you just showed me your portrait a few minutes ago and it was different." She said, "No, I didn't." And the other two said, "No, she's only showed you one portrait." And I said, No, you just a few minutes ago you showed me yours and now you're showing me them together and it's very different." And they all agreed that no, she only showed me one portrait. So I just sort of joked and said, "Oh, that must have been another timeline." So we joked about it. And then I reflected on that later, and I thought, well, that just seemed so random, and I don't see how that experience really is very life-changing. Until a few weeks ago, some major events in my life took place. Totally shocked me. Was unprepared, and I had to do a lot of processing on it. And then when I reflected back to that moment and some of the other things that happened in that moment, I realized that I indeed made a timeline shift. So it's still working itself through, and I'm still processing. But I just want to say that start looking. If you are doing meditations or guided meditations on timeline shifts, then be prepared for major, not just small events. Small events will come, it will be humorous, conversations will come up like, "Do you remember when this was said or this happened?" And you have a total different memory. So don't argue it, just like, "Oh, I guess I remember it differently," because what probably is happening is you're experiencing a timeline shift. But also beware that major things can shift, and it may seem like a negative, but if you trust me, if you're making timeline shifts, you're more than likely wanting to make timeline shifts where you're in a more positive relationship, or your finances are different, or you're going into a place of abundance. Those shifts are real. And they may show up in ways that you're not expecting. But when they do show up, yes, you're going to have a reaction, you're going to go through a processing, but they are real, and the outcome, trust me, is always for the better. And if you would like me to share more with you on this, please reach out. I'm more than happy to share more experiences on time life shifts. Have a beautiful day. Namaste.